Good morning and welcome to Southwest Sports E-News for the month of June. I've got with me today the president of the Warrnambool Wolves Football Club, Brett Gasper. Welcome, Brett.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for inviting me along.
Thank you for your time. Mate, it's obviously been a really tumultuous season so far. In fact, no season thus far. How have you guys found Covid-19 at your club?
It's been a massive challenge, not just for clubs, but throughout the world, for everybody. So, but on a purely club sense, it's just stopped everything in its tracks when we were required to stop training. We were well into our pre-season, getting ready for the start of the season. We had most people registered, training, we were playing practice matches and all those types of things. And even though we sort of could see where things were heading, once the official call came through, it just stopped everything dead in its tracks.
And part of that as well is not just the on-field side of things, but also the off-field connection that you have with your members as well. How have you guys sort of been engaging your members through this process?
We've tried to stay in contact as best we can. We've got quite a visible social media presence. We're quite active in that sense. But it's been a real challenge because not everybody was registered when the season started. So we have TMAP is what we use to get our message predominantly across to our players. But a lot of our new ones weren't on TMAP. And I think effectively once things stopped, everybody knew what was going on through the news and whatever, and wasn't checking in on TMAP as much as we probably would have liked. So getting the message out was extremely difficult. We've had to use multiple sources. So we've used email, Facebook and our Instagram to try and get messages out there and just to stay engaged. I found Football Victoria and the A-League clubs were really good with connecting to grassroots clubs like ours with giving some programs for training at home by yourself. So we were posting things like that every day.
So we've had some restrictions in place for the last couple of months at least, and that's obviously had an impact on the club. Where are you at the moment, both on-field and off-field?
Yeah, so all sports clubs, I suppose, you're planning. It's all about dates and timeframes and stuff that you're working towards with seasons and that's just all been thrown up in the air. So the goalposts were constantly changing, which makes it difficult in a committee sense that you're planning for things that may never eventuate, which all takes more time and effort on your volunteer resources. But thankfully now we have been given the green light and we have started back training on Sunday under heavy guidelines from Football Victoria in conjunction with the state government and health officers.
There's been a bit of sentiment that clubs should be doing all this work off-field, doing policies and whatever else. What have you guys been doing? Have you been meeting as a committee via Zoom or anything like that?
So we had a Zoom meeting just to sort of catch up and give a bit of an update as to where things were. Once the guidelines came through that we were allowed to come back to training, we held a committee meeting the next day, and just even that, whether we could work around the guidelines that were in place and whether we could actually return. That was really interesting conversation, different ideas and stuff, because you're not talking about just a group of adults that comply, can understand these restrictions. You're talking about kids all the way through. So there was some interesting conversation had around that. Thankfully, in the end, we decided that we would be able to do it. And then it was a case of what do we need to do as a club to set these things up so we can get people in and out of training as quickly and safely as we can and abide by all the regulations.
And you do have little kids from the mini-roos right through to seniors. So what does training look like when someone rocks up?
So that's one of the things at the minute. We've only got our juniors and our seniors back. Our mini-roos and our masters, because of what the masters do, waiting for restrictions to ease further. So there's certain things in place that have made it hard to get some of our programs back just because of the way we run them. But yeah, for the juniors, we set up. It was basically a come in. We funneled everybody in through the one entrance, the hand sanitizers, all that sort of stuff. We had to get there and clean the facilities before training started and things like that. So it's been a challenge. There's been a lot more work involved, but as a club, we felt that the main thing, that's what our purpose is to put soccer out on the pitch. So, if we could find a way to do it, then we thought that that's what we should do.
And the feedback from members from 3 months ago compared to now, like you've mentioned earlier, you're interacting with them a fair bit through your team app. What's their feedback been?
After the session, I've got to say, it was all positive. We've got a wide range of professions at our club, and people were very complimentary for the way that we did it. We effectively told parents to stay in the car, drop the kids off. They're only allowed to arrive at training a maximum of 10 minutes before the training session started, and stay in your car if you want to wait around or come back. I mean, all this stuff sort of flies in the face of what you're trying to do as a sporting club, that you're trying to get together and be a big community, but we've had to segregate everybody. It's one age group in at a time. You train, you get out, and you go home, and we clean and do what we need to do and get ready for the next lot to come through. So it provides some really unique challenges and differences, I suppose, as to the way that you normally think about your sporting club.
Absolutely. So moving forward, if restrictions get eased further and you're allowed to play competition, is there likely to be a winter season for you guys, or are we going to put the hold on that for this year?
No, Football Victoria announced a couple of weeks ago that they were aiming for a June 28 start to seasons at community level. So whether they know a bit more information than we do at this stage, I'm sure that probably is the case. But I suppose all best laid plans, but who knows? It depends on what happens with the virus. We obviously require further easing of restrictions, but that's the time frame that we're working towards. So from a club perspective, it's really exciting. I mean, we've only just started back, and in 4 weeks' time, we might be kicking off the season. So that is really exciting. We're lucky in a lot of senses, I suppose, about the nature of the sport, the fact that it's outside, that we're probably better positioned than a lot of codes to come back. And yeah, that is a really, really exciting thing for us to look forward to, and I hope it happens.
Well, all the best for what season you may have moving forward. Really appreciate your time today, and we'll wish you the best of luck.
No worries, thanks, Andrew. Look forward to catching up with you once the season does begin.
Sounds good. Cheers.